harvesting the outside of the room, having everyone sit together based on feature, for example, and that helps bring down those barriers. And I think you should be careful of as well is like if your technology team's completely separate from your game team, and you just have one person interfaces between those, that's a real recipe for disaster as well.
Isn't that what 2K does?
Well, I mean, the tech team has a room, but those guys.
That's just what Ron was saying before.
Well, you have a separate, they have separate responsibilities, but yeah, those guys get together fairly frequently.
They play StarCraft together. So.
Pretty incessantly.
It doesn't mean it's chaotic because the manager can still manage across the whole floor. They don't have to have everyone in one spot.
We've had different phases, I guess. Like right now, we are concentrated again in sort of departments, but we've got a giant open plan office, so that brings down a lot of barriers. We've got a pretty communal atmosphere anyway.
We've even embedded QA within the teams as well. Bit of that.
That's dangerous.
I sat next to the lead QA during Tribes, and I almost went insane. He had a lot of very good ideas. that was a little too specific. I like you, Russ. Don't worry.
The same example as Rob, we've got a situation where the building doesn't allow teams to sit together. The space is too tight to actually implement programmers and artists together to actually communicate. So as part of a manager's job, it's good to encourage those people if they have a problem with the programmer rather than bring it up with the lead to actually go to that program and sort it out together. And the same with that, if a designer needs an artist and a programmer to sort out a problem, for them to just go and sit in a round table or go around someone's computer. It's a good part of the manager's job to actually ensure that communication continues no matter where these people are sitting or what position they're in.
Just make sure they're talking all the time.
It's very good if your managers are actually on the floor as well, rather than just having managers sitting in an ivory tower in some isolated office. It's usually a good thing to have people on the floor.
In amongst the team.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big culture we really strive for on Taurus as well. And you know, as much as the leads are servants to their departments in terms of, all right, what do you guys need, and they go and chase it up. At the same time, if you walk up to a programmer and he's sitting at his desk and you say, all right, what are you doing? Oh, I'm waiting on an asset from animation. Oh, ideas are coming? No. Go on, go ask them. And you instill them. And I think as well, it's very important for juniors to just at least tell them that they're able to do that. That it's okay for a junior to walk up to a senior and go, come on, I'm waiting for this asset. Like, let's keep the ball rolling. And that, I think, frees up upper management and production to be able to look at the more, blazingly obvious things that they should be doing as opposed to just micromanaging.
Sure.
I just want to point out that this isn't actually necessarily a management issue. Like, I work in education, and as soon as we get, people who are just out of school or people who come from university, they have this conflict between art and programmers just as part of their DNA. And it's really interesting, and we have to work really, really, really hard to kind of beat it out of them. So I think it's not necessarily a management thing. I think it's something that's endemic to development culture. I think it's something that management and leads and pretty much everyone in the team should be focused on breaking down, because it's there right from the offset, and people who want to make games, they're afraid naturally for some reason of different people. And it's been really interesting for me to kind of experience that firsthand and to work out how we can slap them around a bit and knock it out of them.
That's why we found it to be so good to actually to bring artists and players together working on the actual feature, because often you get some feature that's not done properly and the artists will go, well, there's some more code to be done, and the codes go, no, the art's not quite done yet. And they're all in the one spot on that one feature, so it's like, you guys are responsible for that feature, why is it not done? Yeah, that helps break that down.
I actually think there's a lot of prejudice also involved. Like after buyout, I came to this new company, and what I found was exactly that situation you described before. Is like one room for programmers, and there was that many, and the other room was artists. And there was actually 2 programmers in the one room and 2 artists in the other. And it's like, I was just there, and I was like, why don't they want to talk? And talking to programmers and artists, programmers were like, the artists there, they're just noisy people. They play music loud, and I don't like this particular guy, and it was just horrible. And in the end, what happened then was like, me and my other mate after the buyout were merged with these programming team, and we're like, this just doesn't work. And in the end, we just put them all in one room, and they were just rules of using headphones that be like almost every company does it. And that really helps. And we had like that success story as well. It was just so before, it was like, it made things just so much easier. And after the feature teams Rob just mentioned, in 2 games, that just was another iteration of that spirit of keeping things together and putting people into one place.
All right, we'll just do one more, and then we've got to get going.
It's endemic in this industry generally that people can't communicate at all levels. I mean, it's just like codes can't communicate, managers can't communicate, the artists tend not to communicate, and so it's just across the board, and so it's surprising that any product is just finished. but it is, if you go through all of your slides, you'll actually see communication being one of the main issues at the end of the problem. So I think for anyone, communication needs to be enforced at every level between every person in the building, between the publisher, the developer, between the program and the artist, between the manager and the rest of the development staff. And unless you're really fighting that desire that people have to isolate and just get on with their job and not talk to anyone else, we will always have these issues. And I know that's very generic and simple, but after 14 years, that's all I've been trying to get people to do is get people to talk to each other. And that's all at every level.
Okay. Sorry, we've got to keep going because, yeah, we're not going to get through it. Doesn't matter. Like I said, the 10 that we have is not the 10 most important ones. And the next one is probably the touchiest one and the least funniest one, I guess, on the list. Oh, no, we didn't get skip one. Okay, so this isn't the most touchiest one. Let's see that one next. No, that's fine.
Built it up now.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, so this is just about not giving people enough praise or really any kind of feedback. Again, back to communication, just letting them know that they, did a good job and what they did was valued. And I think, sometimes too much emphasis can be put on the team and not enough on, what actually individual people are putting in. I've seen particularly bad examples where, any kind of praise or feedback has been discouraged, really. The management would never, tell people that they did a good job or let them know that, they're appreciated. It'd be all about what a good job management did in managing the project, and that's the way it came out. And, so, and also then people sort of developed a rivalry, so, they wouldn't give feedback to each other, they wouldn't give praise to each other, and, every now and then if one of the managers did say that was a good job, that person would be like, everyone would hate them for it, basically. So, yeah.
Well, especially in, I think it was Lewis yesterday in the design talk, he talked about Dream Crusher mode. We're kind of, as the design team, and it's one of my faults, is that we're in constant Dream Crusher mode. We're actually hypercritical of design ideas because we've worked together for so long. A lot of the designers are pretty happy with throwing in an idea and then hammering it down really, really suddenly. And when you introduce new people to the team, either a junior or I think when Penny started working with us too, it was. I needed to rein back and
you're just a bunch of pricks, really.
We are. We're a pack of arseholes, and because we work together long enough, we already have that rapport. So it's okay for us to be bastards to each other because we're used to it. But you can't just be bastard to everybody all the time. And well, not so far anyway. And that applies to new designers and juniors, but also applies to other members of the dev team, because other people will of course come to the designers with their ideas, and it's something I still haven't learned. I have to be a little more gentle when I attempt to rebut the idea that doesn't fit with the game's vision. That's what I'm trying to say. You just got to be nicer about it.
So one thing that we've found is kind of helps with this without kind of taking up a lot of time and running around patting everybody on the back is we had this cross-discipline presentation meeting once a week where if we had a feature team or a certain person finished a character, or there's a feature team working on a feature and they're 2/3 of the way through they've got something to show, they'll go and make a little quick video of it. They'll show the rest of the team. Everybody can kind of go, oh, that's cool. And that's all it takes. It just takes one of the artists saying, oh, that's really cool, to an AI program or whoever it is across the team, and then everybody's kind of just getting feedback from each other.
Yeah, that's really good too, because there's so many things that maybe, depending on what phase you're in the project, a programmer will work on a feature that nobody will really appreciate, even though it's going to affect them. Yeah. But we've gotten to the point during some of our meetings where we will make a programmer fraps the user interface for the editor that they have just done, showing just a 30-second fraps, sometimes with rock music, which they can throw out there, and people will appreciate it. People who are going to go use that will now, A, they're informed, oh, that feature is now ready to be used in that way. But B, yeah, they can actually appreciate it and tell the programmer.
Yeah, and the artist will go up after the meeting and go and talk to her. Hey, can you show me how that thing works?
How do I actually use that? Yeah. Anyone got anyone?
Yeah, Crown, we have like an internal